Stop promoting your best coaches. Today's video is going to be really quick and to the point. I got to make sure that people who are about to make this mistake or may have just made this mistake are able to correct it before they go down a long, difficult road of undoing the mistake. When we look at promoting good coaches, what I'm actually referring to is not like the promotion of letting people know how good your coach is, but actually taking your coach and promoting them into a position higher than where they currently are. It's actually something that is constantly repeated from the managerial level whenever a coach is having a certain level of success. They will look at that person and say, this person is doing a great job on court. Why don't we make them the assistant director? Why don't we make them the director of X, Y, or Z? And on paper, it makes sense. Person A is showing a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of effort, and that does not inherently mean that they would not fit that promotionary role. The problem is it's the assumption that because a person is good at X skill, that they will then be good at Y position. What you have to do is actually go a little deeper into the things that determine if they're going to be good at that position that you're looking to promote them to. In most cases, we're going from coach to head coach or coach to director or assistant director. And that comes with a lot more responsibility than just being good at feeding, good at recognizing technical flaws, or good at talking to parents and having relationships that you build with the student base. What you have to do as an owner is actually vet the person's skills that you care more about. Is this person good at the computer portion of what's going to happen as a director or assistant director? Do the coaches around them actually respect what they're going to say? Because when you put them in the position to be in charge of other people, it's not just because they're good at what they do, it's because other people are going to listen to what they have to say. As an owner, your hope is that this person has skills that are transferable and contagious to the other coaches on your staff. So let's say coach A is your best coach, and you're hoping that by putting them in this position, you're going to then get X level of return from the other coaches in the area that are going to follow in this person's footsteps. But let's say coach A, I'll just refer to them as coach A. Let's say coach A has all these skills, but has no idea how to actually help other people do it. I actually used to have this problem. There were so many things on the coaching side and playing side that came easy to me that when I became a person who people started to respect for their coaching ability, it was difficult for me to actually just go and show them how to do these things. I actually had to learn the fact that the things I see quickly actually take some people a little bit more time to notice. And the assumption that you can take somebody that has that level of skill, that it's almost subconscious and intrinsic, and make them in charge of people who have to work that much harder doesn't always pay off. You'd be surprised how many times the coach flying under the radar is actually the person that gets the most respect and actually understands how to relate to the other staff is the person that you should be promoting. Now, I'm not saying that you can't promote your highest level coach. What I am saying is you should be focused more on the transferable skills that are going to make that person actually get your facility a high quality return. If you take your highest earner, and this is the negative side of it, if you take your highest earner, your best performing coach, and put something on their plate that they're not good at, the thing that they do well is going to suffer because they have to take their bandwidth and mental focus and apply it more into the thing that they actually aren't that good at because you promoted them into a position that they weren't qualified for. That's not to say that they can't grow into that, but usually you need to actually work them into these positions. I've seen way too often a position opens up at a place and then they go, this coach has been doing a great job for the past 6 months, past 2 years. Let's put them in this position. And what ends up happening is they don't have as much time to do the lessons and bring the revenue into the facility. And they also don't have the skill to do the administrative portion of it well, whether it's promotion, setting up events, calling parents, fixing problems. They don't have those skills or they haven't learned them yet. So now you have a thing that was doing really well that goes down, and you have a thing that is not on the way up yet because there's so much work that needs to be done. There are people in your facility that are probably better suited to those positions, and you need to take time to actually vet them and decide if you'd be better off putting them in those positions and just letting your good coach be just that, one of your good coaches. Now, what can be a negative is when you take an underqualified person and promote them into that position without consulting the person that you're skipping. And what you want to do in those cases to make sure everything works out is you need to also acknowledge the fact that you have a coach that's doing a really good job. You need to compensate that coach well. You need to make sure that that coach understands that what they're doing is highly appreciated, and you don't feel, or you don't want them to feel like you're skipping over them and giving an underqualified person this responsibility instead of them. Let them know that it's because of the fact that they're this good at this thing that you need to put their energy in that thing, and you want to give somebody else the reins on something that's going to require more skill set that they are more suited for. So let's say you have Coach A and Coach B. Coach A is an outstanding coach but has terrible administrative skills. You have Coach B, who's a good coach but has great administrative skills. You might want to look at Coach B more in terms of who's going to be piloting certain things that require a lot of administration. And as a result, you can maintain your profit lines on the people who are doing things that are highly profitable to your facility. I'm actually a result of the thing I'm telling people not to do. I was the best coach at my facility when the position opened up. Now, the coach that left a big hole that I had to fill in terms of all the administrative things and all of the relationships and stuff that happens with the coaches and the players and the parents and all that stuff. Now, luckily for the owner, I had already fostered a lot of those relationships, but he didn't even know that. He never asked me those pieces of the thing. He didn't know my business background. He didn't know all these things. He just got lucky that I was already well qualified for those things. As far as they were concerned, I just had the highest performing players that I worked with and the highest performing classes that I worked with. My transferable skills were discovered later, but they weren't evident in the very beginning. So this person here who I worked with at that point got very lucky. What I want you guys to do is not make that mistake on the long run. Just vet your coaches and make sure that who goes into certain positions just fits there well. The reflex to promote your best coaches is very often a thing that actually negatively impacts your bottom line, negatively impacts your client base, and negatively impacts their performance. So as you're moving through and trying to do a lot more productive things in your facilities, you might want to just look at your business overall, look at the way you've laid out people in your facility, and look at how many times you might have put somebody in a position just assuming that because they were good at a certain thing, that meant that they'd be good at a higher title. Be careful not to make this mistake in the long run because it does negatively impact you over time, because there's a lot of missed opportunities to do things that a seasoned person or a well-trained person will notice that a person who's just good at coaching won't see as often. Be careful of this, try to avoid it, and then you'd be surprised how much more profitable your facility is, how much more productive your facility is, and also you'll notice that the vibe of the facility is probably a lot better because everybody's functioning in a place where they suit best or they are best suited. So if you have somebody that's good with adults, leave them there. Somebody that's good with juniors, somebody that's good with parents, somebody that's good with events, just place those people in the places that they should be and let your club or facility run itself almost. When you give somebody the reins to be in charge of something that they're happy to be in charge of, you'd be surprised at the level of output. Instead of getting a 2x or 3 times return on what that is, the person that's super excited to do anything in your facility will give you a 5 to 10 times return just because it's something that they want to put their energy into, or it's something that they can literally do in their sleep with their eyes closed. You never know, but you need to make sure you don't put the wrong person in there, whether it's an event, a club activity, a tournament, anything like that. You take the wrong person and put them in charge of something, your attendance would be down, the reputation of the event could be down, whatever it is. So just be careful not to place these people in the wrong place. And the thing I'm saying from the very beginning is stop putting bad directors in director positions because they're good coaches. Put a good coach in a good coach position, put a good director, good assistant director, good head coach in those positions and let them do their job and help your facility along. And then if you put the person in there that you're 100% confident in, let go of the reins and trust them to do the job that you put them in place for. Way too many managers and owners want to micromanage a person that they're supposed to be empowering into these positions. And that's a really easy way to make somebody not give you full effort. It happened to me when I was first promoted into certain positions. I had to actually talk to the person that I worked under, and I said, look, if you want me to do this job, you need to back off and let me do this job. I'm not going to steer it in the wrong direction, and I'm going to relay all the information to you. But if you keep trying to do everything for me or keep trying to double check that I'm doing the things, I'm going to spend more time conversing with you than actually doing the things. And way too many people have trouble letting go. So just be careful of that when you're moving forward in your position as an owner, as a manager, and as somebody that's about to promote these people. That's going to wrap up today's video. I wanted to keep it pretty brief, pretty straight to the point. I will see you guys in the next one. I'm going to be using this whiteboard next time because we're going to be talking about how to determine who your most valuable coaches are in your facility. But I'll see you guys in the next one.